Let's say your team is bought into continuous improvement. They agree, we want fewer headaches. We want smoother work. We want happier customers. But then reality hits. They see problems. They feel frustrations. And they don't know how to turn that into a clear improvement. Most people were never taught how to think through a problem. They know how to cope with it, work around it, complain about it, but not how to fix it. So today's video is about exactly that. Simple problem-solving skills every team member needs to actually run continuous improvement. No Six Sigma belt, no statistics degree, no consultant required. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple way to define a problem, a basic root cause tool anyone can use, a tiny experiment method to test ideas, and a one-page way to tell the story of each improvement. Let's jump in. The skill number 1, turn vague complaints into clear problem. Skill number 1, turn vague complaints into clear specific problems. Most problems start as, this process is a mess. Customers are always mad about this. We're just so busy and behind. That's not a problem statement, that's a feeling. A clear problem statement answers 3 things. 1, what is happening? 2, where, when does it happen? 3, how big is it? Here's a simple structure your team can use. We are experiencing is which is causing. Examples. Instead of shipping is a disaster, say we are shipping orders late on about 30% of jobs from warehouse A, especially on Mondays, which is causing customer complaints and rush fees. Instead of support is slammed, say our average response time to customer emails has gone from 4 hours to 12 hours over the last 2 months, which is causing more follow-up emails and lower satisfaction. This matters because you can't fix a disaster. You can fix late orders on Mondays from warehouse A or response time drifting from 4 to 12 hours. So step 1 for your team, when they bring up a problem, coach them to make it specific. Ask where exactly, how often, since when, what's the impact? You're teaching them to move from venting to defining. Skill 2, find root causes with 5 whys. Skill number 2, find root causes using a simple 5 whys approach. You don't need fancy software or a full fishbone diagram. You just need curiosity. The idea is simple. Start with the problem. Ask why, take the answer and ask why again. Repeat a few times until you reach something you can actually act on. Let's walk through an example. Problem. Orders from warehouse A are late 30% of the time on Mondays. Why number 1? Why are orders from warehouse A late on Mondays? Because there's a big backlog waiting from the weekend. Why number 2? Why is there a backlog from the weekend? Because we don't have enough staff scheduled early Monday to catch up. Why number 3? Why don't we have enough staff scheduled Monday morning? Because our schedule is the same every day and doesn't consider weekend volume. Why is number 4? Why doesn't our schedule consider weekend volume? Because we've never analyzed patterns or adjusted staffing to them. Now you're closer to a root cause. Not enough capacity at the right time because scheduling doesn't reflect demand. Notice what didn't happen. We didn't jump to people are lazy or the team just doesn't care. We focused on process and design. Another quick example, problem. Customer emails are taking 12 hours to answer. Why number 1? Because we only check the inbox twice a day. Why number 2? Because we don't have a dedicated person responsible for scanning and triaging. Why number 3? Because in the past, volume was low enough that anyone could just jump in. Why number 4? Because volume increased, but our way of working never changed. Again, the real problem is our process and roles didn't adapt to growth. Teach your team. Don't stop at the first why. Avoid jumping to blame. Keep asking why until the answer points at something you can change. A step, a rule, a schedule, a missing check, a missing skill. This skill. Now 3, design tiny experiments. Skill number 3, design tiny experiments instead of big, risky changes. A lot of people think If we change something, it has to be perfect and permanent. That's scary. In continuous improvement, we think in experiments. Small, cheap tests with a clear hypothesis and a way to measure results. Here's a simple template for your team. 1. Problem. We're late on 30% of Monday orders from warehouse A. 2. Idea. Change. For the next 2 Mondays, add 1 extra person for the first 3 hours of the shift and pre-pick the most common items on Friday. 3. Expected result. We expect late orders on Monday to drop below 10%. 4. How we'll measure. Track on time versus late orders for the next 2 Mondays and compare to the previous 2 Mondays. 5. Duration. Test for 2 weeks, then review. That's it. That's an experiment. Teach your team that. Experiments are temporary tests, not irreversible changes. It's okay if they don't work perfectly. You're buying learning. You can even write this on a simple experiment card. Problem, hypothesis. If we do X, we expect Y. Test period, result. Then in your CI huddles, review. Did the experiment help? Did it hurt anything? Do we keep it, tweak it, or drop it? This reduces fear and increases action. People aren't committing to forever. They're committing to try this for 2 weeks and see. Skill. Number 4, capture a 1-page improvement story. Skill number 4, capture and share improvement stories on 1 page. Humans remember stories better than they remember charts. If you want continuous improvement to spread, teach your team to tell simple before, change, after stories. Here's a 1-page structure anyone can use. 1. Title. Reducing Monday shipping delays at warehouse. A. 2. Problem. 30% of orders from warehouse A were shipped late on Mondays, causing complaints and rush shipping costs. 3. Root cause. Insight. Backlog from weekend volume, plus not enough Monday morning staffing, plus no pre-work. 4. Change. Experiment. For 2 weeks, added 1 person to the first 3 hours of Monday shift. Pre-picked top 20 SKUs on Friday afternoon. 5. Result numbers. Late orders dropped from 30% to 8% on Mondays. Rush shipping costs were reduced by about X in 2 weeks. 6. Result, experience. Team reported less stress on Monday mornings. Fewer angry customer calls on Tuesdays. 7. Decision. Keep this change and bake it into our standard schedule. Review again in 60 days. Now you've got a shareable story for other teams, a clean record of what changed and why. A reference if you ever need to revisit the decision. Encourage your team. If you lead an improvement, you own the 1-page story. We'll use some of these stories in our meetings to recognize your work and teach others. Over time, you build a library of wins. New hires can see real examples. Other teams can copy and adapt ideas. Leadership can see the impact in human terms, not just data. Think about putting it all together in challenge. Let's put the 4 skills together. To run continuous improvement at the team level, people don't need a belt or a certificate. They need a simple way to 1. Define a problem clearly, move from everything is a mess to we are experiencing in key which causes. 2. Find root causes with 5 whys. Ask why again and again, focusing on process, not people. Stop when you hit something you can actually change. 3. Design tiny experiments, problem, idea, expected result, how we'll measure, test period. Think, let's try this for 2 weeks, not this must be perfect forever. 4. Tell a 1-page improvement story. Before, root cause insight, change. After, numbers and experience, what we decided. Here's your challenge for the next 30 days. Pick 1 team or process where you want to build these skills. In your next CI huddle, introduce this simple flow. Define 5 whys, experiment, story. Choose 1 real problem they care about and walk through all 4 steps together. Turn the complaint into a clear problem. Ask 5 whys with the group. Decide on a tiny experiment and how you'll measure it. At the end of the test, capture a 1-page story. Do that a few times and your team will start to bring clearer problems, think more in terms of causes than blame, suggest small tests instead of waiting for big fixes, and feel proud of the improvements they lead. That's when continuous improvement stops being the boss's thing and becomes our way of working. If this was helpful, hit like and subscribe and drop a comment. Which of the 4 skills do you want your team to practice first? Defining problems, 5 whys, experiments, or storytelling. Thanks for watching. And keep building a team that doesn't just live with problems, they know how to solve them.